TR date 6/16/66, air date 6/30/66. Dark Shadows, number 4-66. BTR date 6/16/66, air date 6/30/66. Take one.
My name is Victoria Winters. The dark night presses in on the crest of Widow's Hill as though it were alive. I can almost feel it, crushing against the windows, whispering to me, telling me to run while I can. But I've come too far and waited too long, and the fear of darkness is only for children.
From that door.
Go back to bed.
I want you to come downstairs with me now.
And I want you to go back to bed.
Do as I say now.
What do you think you're doing?
Suppose you tell me what you were doing.
Elizabeth, you're my sister, not my warden.
Roger, that girl was brought here to care for your son. Your son, Roger, not you.
What's coming now? The lesson on morals?
No, not a lesson on morals. Just a simple statement. You repeat tonight's episode, and I'll have to ask you to pack your things and leave.
Elizabeth, all I wanted to do was talk to the girl.
Then knock on her door. I want you to remember that Victoria Winters is not only an employee, she is a guest in my house, and I want her treated with as much respect
As much respect as you'd give Burke Devlin?
Who?
Burke Devlin.
What's he
Don't
got?
tell me you've forgotten the name.
What's he got to do with this?
It seems that your little Miss Winters wasn't the only one who got off the train tonight. She had a fellow passenger.
Burke?
Yes.
Somehow I knew he'd come back.
Well, what do you intend to do about it?
Nothing.
Nothing. You can't be serious. Why do you think he's in Collinsport?
It's his home.
Listen to me. Burke is not that poor kid that once worked for us. Not anymore. He's made a lot of money.
What happened between you and Burke Devlin was finished 10 years ago.
But then why do you think he's here?
I don't know.
That's what I wanted to ask her.
Miss Winters?
She was with him on the train, Elizabeth. They rode to the hotel together. He might have said something to her.
I don't want her involved.
But she is involved. She's here.
Roger.
I warned you, didn't I, Elizabeth? I warned you not to bring anyone into this house.
Roger, keep your voice down.
I'm fed up with your telling me what I can do and what I can't do. I'm as much a member of this family as you are.
Roger, if you can't control your
Elizabeth,
voice...
someone has come back to destroy me, maybe to kill me, and I'm not going to just sit here and do nothing.
You say you're a Collins. Well, then act like one. If there's a problem to face, examine it. Look into it, but don't reject it.
Shall I do as you do? Shall I hide my head and wait for it to disappear? I'm not prepared to spend my life the way you have, sitting in this house, waiting, never going out. That's not my way, and it never will be.
A beautiful speech, Uncle Roger. Just beautiful. We really should have this door soundproof, don't you think?
Just a little family discussion, kitten. Nothing for you to worry about. Why don't you go on back up to bed?
I will. As soon as you answer one question. Who's trying to kill you?
Carolyn, how long have you been outside that door?
Not long enough, or I wouldn't have to ask. Who is it? Burke Devlin?
Where did you hear that name from?
It was Vicky. She mentioned it. Did I say something wrong?
What did she say?
Only that she told Uncle Roger Mr. Devlin had given her a lift from the railroad station. And you almost blew a fuse. Oh, I told her she must have been mistaken. That you don't jump that easily. Unless you have a good reason.
Darling, this is not your affair.
How can you say that if someone's trying to hurt Uncle Roger?
Your mother's right, kitten. Besides, it's nothing I can't handle myself, really.
So what was all the yelling about?
Well,
Who is Burke Devlin, anyway?
A man we used to know. He's not here to harm anyone.
kitten, do you happen to know if Miss Winters is away?
With all this racket, how could she help it?
Well, I wonder if you'd mind going upstairs and asking her to come down.
Roger?
If Carolyn doesn't go up and bring her down, Elizabeth, I'll do it myself.
Carolyn, I want you to go to bed now.
I'm quite serious about this, Elizabeth. I intend to talk with Miss Winters tonight, one way or the other.
What can you possibly expect
Well,
to
let
learn?
me be the judge of that.
Whoa.
I just want to know.
Whoa, both of you.
I told you to go to bed.
I will, Mother. But what about Vicky?
I suppose you might as well ask her to come down.
Believe me, kitten, all I want to do is ask her a few questions.
All right. I'll tell her.
Well, that was a delightful exhibition, wasn't it? I hope you're proud of yourself.
All right, Elizabeth.
Just because one man wants to come back to Collingsport. One man!
All right!
Look at them, Roger, lined up on the wall. Isaac Collins, Jeremiah Collins, Theodore, Benjamin. How would they handle this problem, if there really is a problem?
Elizabeth, I'm going to fight every way I can. But please understand this. It may be an unpleasant fact, but it's true. I'm not Isaac. I'm not Jeremiah. I'm not any of them. I'm me, Roger Collins. I'm going to fight my way.
At least I can see I didn't wake you. Unless you figured out a way to sleep without wrinkling the bed. What did you want? Uncle Roger's downstairs with my mother. I know. He's really a very nice guy, Vicky. But he's had a rough time. You don't know how rough. A wife who... Well, the less said about her, the better. I thought his wife was dead. You thought wrong. And then there's David. A kid like that would make anybody's nerves pop. But you'll find out about him tomorrow. Then why tell me now? Because I want you to understand, Uncle Roger.
Like I said, he's really a very nice guy. But right now, he's a little bit upset.
Carolyn, what are you getting at?
He wants to talk to you.
Now?
Oh, it's nothing to worry about. Uncle Roger just wants to ask you a few questions. And like I already told you, he's such a nice...
I know. He's such a nice person. But it's almost midnight.
Oh, that's the point. At the stroke of 12, he turns into Dracula. Come on, Vicky. You won't bite. It won't hurt, and you might as well get it over with.
What did you want to ask me?
I think I'd better let him tell you that. But just remember, he wouldn't hurt a fly.
Are you coming with me?
I wish I could, but I've been given my orders. Bed. He's in the drawing room. Oh. Vicky, I want you to know something. I'm really very glad you're here. Really.
As long as you insist on doing this, at least let me talk to her.
I don't care who talks to her as long as we find out.
Come in, Miss Winters. Sit down. We're very sorry to disturb you so late, but I'm sure this won't take more than a moment.
Carolyn said Mr. Collins wanted to talk to me.
Yes, about a man named Burke Devlin.
Oh,
You met him on the train from New York.
no.
Oh, but you said you did.
Roger, please.
I said I met him at the Collinsport station after I got off the train. He gave me a lift to the hotel.
And of course, you told him you were coming here to Collinwood.
I saw no reason not to.
Did he say anything about us?
Mrs. Stoddard, I don't understand.
Now, Miss Winters, my sister asked you a question. Did Burke Devlin say anything about any of us?
Nothing in particular.
Did he tell you why he came back to Collinsport?
No.
Thank you very much, Miss Winters. I think we can all go to bed now.
Oh, I think not, Elizabeth. Miss Winters, you wouldn't mind keeping a lonely man company for a little while longer, would you?
Well, it's awfully late and
5 minutes, 10? No longer, I promise you. I'm really quite a nice fellow. Good night, Elizabeth, and don't worry. I promise to be on my very best behavior.
Roger, I don't like...
Sleep well, dear.
Good night, Miss Winters.
Well, now, let's start with a nightcap.
No, thank you.
Well, I could do with a spot of brandy. Nothing quite so satisfying as a fine brandy. You should try some.
I have. It burns.
The directness of youth. Pain sometimes precedes pleasure, Miss Winters, or are you too young to have discovered that yet?
I'd rather avoid the pain as long as possible.
Well, so would we all, but tomorrow has a habit of arriving on schedule. Tomorrow, Miss Winters, you will start coping with my son. He's a difficult child, you know.
So I've been told.
He'll demand all your patience and honesty. Are you an honest person, Miss Winters?
I try to be.
Then why were you less than frank about your contact with Burke Devlin?
I beg your pardon.
How much time did you spend with him?
15 minutes at most, but
15 minutes, and he knew you were coming here?
I've already told you.
Miss Winters, do you expect me to believe that he expressed no opinion or attitude about any of us?
Mr. Collins, I don't like being cross-examined.
And I don't blame you. But all I want to know is, did Burke Devlin say anything about any of us? Anything at all?
Why is it so important?
He's a dangerous man, Miss Winters. Let it go at that. I just want to know how dangerous. Please?
Well, he did seem to know all of you. And his memories weren't very fond ones.
What did he say?
It wasn't anything he said in specific. It was more like an attitude. The tone of his voice when he spoke about Collinwood. He even tried to talk me out of coming here.
He did? Why?
He didn't give any reason. He just seemed to think it would be a good place to stay away from.
Because of him? Because of something he might do?
Mr. Collins, I've already told you.
Did he mention my name at all?
No.
Are you sure?
Of course I'm sure.
But there's more to it, isn't there? Much more that you're not telling me.
Well, that's not true.
He knew that I was living here now, didn't he?
How do I know?
Why did you take that train from New York?
What
Why did you take that train from New York? You could have flown to Bangor.
Because it was cheaper.
Do you think Burke Devlin has to worry about saving money?
How should I know?
He's a rich man, Miss Winters. He's a very rich man. Why do you think he would take that long train ride from New York?
I don't know. Maybe he doesn't like flying.
Maybe because he knew you were going to be on that train.
Mr. Collins, that's absolutely ridiculous.
A stranger enters this house for the first time in 18 years. And she arrives on the same train as Burke Devlin. Are you trying to tell me that it's only a coincidence?
Well, I'm not trying to tell you anything. All I'm trying to tell you is that I never heard of Burke Devlin until he was kind enough to give me a ride from the station to the hotel. I don't know anything more than that, and now if you'll excuse me...
Miss Winters, wait.
For what? So you can shout at me, question me, accuse me of dishonesty? I've told you all I know. Now I'd like to go to my room to get some sleep because I may want to take that early train in the morning.
frightening a new friend. What's the matter, David? Cat got your tongue?
I hate you.
Where the Action Is made its debut 1 year ago this week with top recording stars performing Where the Fun Is. Come along for a real good time next here on ABC. Dark Shadows has been a Dan Curtis production.